Hi, welcome to our channel. Today I'm going to take you through forward and backward shoulder rolls with some variations. You will need most likely a yoga mat, crash mats if you're particularly sensitive to your shoulder, in particular on the floor, and you might want to start off in leggings and socks just to protect your skin from the floor. Let's break down a basic forward shoulder roll. First of all, we're not going to roll directly over the head, we're going to roll over the shoulder. We're going to use one bent arm with the palm pressing into the floor, and we're going to use one straight arm with the back of the arm and the back of the hand pushing into the floor. The pushing creates the space between our shoulders and our ears. Make sure everything's engaged so that we're not putting pressure on our head, which is going to cause an injury. The other thing we're going to do with my beginners is I start on the knees, press up into the toes to get the hips above the shoulders. That's going to create my forward motion. So, starting on the knees, bent arm, pressing into the floor with my palm, facing and looking at that bent arm. Straight arm behind me, shoulder on the floor, and the side of the face is on the floor. Engage, I'm pushing and creating the space. Tucking the toes, pushing my hips over my head, looking underneath the armpit, and then I'm rolling over. It's really important once my hips are up and I'm starting that forward motion by looking underneath, I have to keep my feet as far back behind me as possible. If I bring them out, I'm going to flop. So I'm going to show you what not to do. I know that looked really silly, but the minute I bring my feet forward, the weight in my hips, my stomach doesn't, my belly doesn't engage all those muscles, and I just flop out. So let's watch the correct way to do it again. Starting on my knees, arms in position, shoulder on the floor. Engaging the muscles by pressing down, putting my hips over my head, looking underneath the arm, rotate the head, look at my knees, and I'm keeping my feet behind me until the last second. Once you've mastered that roll, then we can look at some alternatives. Let's do a variation of a forward shoulder roll now, where we're starting to lengthen those legs. So rather than starting in a kneeling position, we're going to start laying on our belly, on our chest. We're going to drag the feet up to get our hips over our shoulder, and then we're going to roll. So the main thing that we need to do here is we need to work on pulling the belly button up off the floor, and we're trying to drag our feet in, and we're going to be lifting our hips above our head. So if my hands are in forward roll position, shoulder on the floor, then we can just do this prep. So I'm using all of my tummy muscles to draw in and creating a triangle shape. From there, I'm going to tuck my head, look through the gap, and I'm going to roll over the shoulder. This is best done with socks on. You will find that on hard surfaces, you will get a bit of burn along your toes and the tops of your feet. So socks are recommended to help to start with. Leggings, as you get stronger, you can start to remove those things and the sticking won't bother you as much. And you can also add heels for extra weight and also to complement your style. Starting on our belly, bent arm in place, straight arm over the top, pressing into the floor. Lift the hips, sliding in, look through the arm, and tucking over. Let's break down a simple backward shoulder roll. We're going to start from a seated position and we're going to be rolling along our spine. So if you're on a hard surface, grab a yoga mat, grab a crash mat of some description, put an extra layer on between your skin and the floor. We're going to be rolling in a tucked position. Don't roll directly over the head. We really want to make sure we're rolling over the shoulder, and we will turn our head so that we're rolling in a way that's not going to compress the neck in any way. When we're performing this, one of the important things is that the hands, similar to a forward shoulder roll, are pressing into the floor at the key moment, which is as your hips are coming over the top of you, creating the space between your shoulders and your ears, and also helping you to get a little bit of upward push to get your body over. I'm going to show you through slowly and then I will break it down for you. Okay, let me break it down for you. To start with, the beginner move, we're going to stay in a very tucked position. The more advanced you get with this, or the more comfortable, the more you can start lengthening the legs. You can kick the legs up, you can land in a straddle, but to start with, keeping all of your limbs in nice and tight means that you're really going to focus on hips over shoulders, helps your core stay engaged, and it's going to stop, hopefully, as much rolling out from side to side. What I'm going to be doing here is rolling along my spine in a curved position. I'm going to be using my hands to brace. I'm going to use my head. I'm going to look at my straight arm, and then I'm rolling over the shoulder, and I'm going to aim to get my knees over this shoulder. So I'm going to do it from both directions for you slowly. I will try and talk through as I go, and hopefully it doesn't get too loud. I'm going to roll through, palms to the floor in this one. Look at the straight arm as I come over. Then I'm going to tuck the head through, which you will see happen, and knees are going over my shoulder. I'll do it this way for you now. So you can see there, my hands pressing into the floor creates a bit of space, so I'm not putting too much pressure on my head. If you're feeling it a lot through your head and your neck, you really need to press those palms into the floor as much as possible. And the other thing you want to do is when you are aiming with your knees, really pull that pelvis into a tucked position so that your knees can land over your shoulder nice and close. Don't try and go outside them for now. And look at them as you go over. It will really help you get into that position. Let's do a variation to a back shoulder roll. We're going to start from a seated position, tuck over our shoulder, but instead of our knees landing directly over our shoulder, we're going to do what I call a split step. So one leg is going to be out straight, the other leg is going to be bent. Let's try it from this direction. Beginning setup is all the same. I'm going to roll through the spine, place my hands on the floor, look over my shoulder, and then as I come over, I'm going to place my legs, one leg straight, one leg bent. Let's go from this direction for you. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and if you try these things, please make sure you tag us so we can see your progress.